Did you think you was about to save face and everyone's going to have this big revelation and Jonathan Majors had this interview and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we were all in the wrong, and a judge and then jury and everybody's going to say, hey, let's have a retrial, and everybody's going to come back and say, no, let's fix things and make sure we get the girl. When has that ever happened? Tonight. Now, if Chris Christie got fit crisply and laid off the Krispy Kremes, could Chris Christie hit the gym fitly, which could make Christie king? Y'all remember those days when Google and Twitch stock prices was like just going to the moon? It's like they could do no wrong. Well, these are not those days. And Jonathan Majors has no friends. None. At all. Obviously. See these stories and more of what we're talking about in this week's episode of The Blackness Show. Welcome to the BS. Now let's go. What is good? What is good? Ladies and gentlemen, this is an election year, and just like you, I am already over it. I mean, with the theater of politics being as it's been since the darkness befell the land and a one Donald J. Trump took the reins when a haughty Hillary hurriedly hastened in her own havoc, having her campaign head for the hills instead of the plains of the Midwest, giving way to he who held. We are heading into the most important election of our lifetimes, right? Not to be confused with the 2020 election, which was the most important election of our lifetime. And it was, except for before that was in 2016, the most important I think you get it. Now, over the past couple of days, I've had some time to take a look at the recent polls of our United States Republican Party and their attempt to find anyone capable to knock out the guy with all the legal drama who previously held the office and who you just know will be the guy running against the guy who's currently in office. Regardless of how many states try to keep him off the ballots, regardless of how many court cases against him, and regardless of how many women line up and say that he actually harassed them. Because, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if they really wanted this man behind bars, he'd be there already. I mean, they barely had anything on Epstein, and they had the man arrested and even killed before they even had the chance, or before he had the chance to have an interview with his own representation. But a guy who they know had a hand in starting the January 6th riots of 2021, who's inflated and deflated claims of his own personal wealth, depending on which tax agency, bank, or media outlet he's lying to at the time. And again, who's had lines of women claim to have been actually assaulted by him, cannot get arrested. Quick side note. Do you realize in the time that they've been gathering records to get at Trump and all his shenanigans that they know that he's had a hand in? I mean, in that same time, Bill Cosby and his copious SA charges has had court, been found guilty and imprisoned for a few years before having that judgment overturned and him ultimately being released. Meanwhile, they still unable to get any hold of the Don. Like, again, if they really wanted him, they would get the man. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so before I go off too far on a tangent, here's how the stupid Iowa caucuses went. And I call them stupid because they only get to go first because they have a stupid caucus. Anyway, like the whole process is just stupid. Look, I'm not even gonna explain it. Just look it up or just trust your boy. Iowa has a stupid process, and that's why they get to go first, basically. Anyway, this is how it shook out. So you got the lady whose people aren't even from here, who couldn't name slavery, any slavery of the slavery reason slavery for the slavery Civil War slavery, got third place.
What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
And the anti-alphabet guy who looks like Barney Rubble, an illiterate version of it at that, if that's even possible, who picks fights with kids' amusement parks, this guy got second place. And then the guy who they can't seem to pin down with any of the thousands of court cases against him, who barely showed up, this guy, Donald J. Trump, he got first place. Democracy, right? Of the people who were also running that you didn't even care about, or who didn't even have an ex-fiend's chance in the 90s New York housing project.
Just be calling me, man. Be calling me, man. I just gotta go to it.
Were the likes of Vivek Ramaswamy, a man who tried his best, or as best as he could, but ultimately failed to prove to the white Republicans that he was the other dark meat. You know, one of the good ones. And then you have former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who recently ended his campaign as well. Now, I'll say if anybody had a chance at being a credible victor over Trump, it was actually Christie. I mean, because think about it, okay? This dude was actually, if only for the briefest of moments, he was actually inside of Trump's campaign. So he has insider information that he may be able to use against Trump in the debates. You know what I'm saying? And on top of the fact that he also has actual legal ability and can show it. He's shown it as being governor, when working in the capacity of working for Trump. He is an actual lawyer who does lawyer stuff. So he can do lawyering against somebody who's not good at law. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, he has actual debate skills. Like Chris Christie can actually debate somebody. But here's the issue. The man's fat. He's fat. Let's just get it. He's overweight. He's obese, morbidly obese, however you want to look at it. I'm not trying to fat shame the man. It's just a fact. It's just the fact the man is overweight. He's obese. He's really big. As far as Chris Christie goes, I think he was the only one that honestly had a real shot. If Chris Christie, with his morbidly obese self, had decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take 90 days, because that's really all you really need. 3 months. If he had taken 3 months to completely change his diet, dedicate himself to his physical fitness, dedicate himself to changing his look, I guarantee you, if he came back, 100 pounds lighter, or even 50, 60 pounds lighter, if he came back lighter, different attitude, different look, all of a sudden, if he's saying the same stuff, now all of a sudden he looks like he's approachable. He looks like somebody who's formidable. He looks like somebody who could possibly take down Trump. You see what I'm saying? And again, Americans love a comeback story. You don't think that this man couldn't have been like talking about how he overcame struggle, and just like how he overcame, America can overcome. You don't think Americans would jump and fall for something like that? But that takes dedication. And it takes a lot more dedication than just going to get you some lap band surgery. Which, again, Americans love a comeback story. You don't think if Robert Kennedy Jr., presidential candidate, wasn't an anti-Jabberwocky, that he wouldn't be creating more of a buzz? I mean, the man's 70 years old and is still taking pictures with his shirt off. With confidence. You know what I'm saying? You think if he got the chance to get on stage with either Trump or Biden, that he wouldn't beat one by simply sounding more sane, and beating the other one by, also sounding more sane? But I'm just interested in the fact that Trump is the guy, or the guy who's leading is the guy who has the most legal trouble going with him. So however you guys want to play this thing out, we'll see what happens come November. But I'm sure throughout the entire of the year, your boy Seven will be here to make sure that you get the news that you actually need, because in all honesty, none of this caucus stuff matters. We know who the guy's gonna be, don't you? So what do you think of the GOP second tier frontrunners? Do you think anyone has the potential to unseat the Don? Are you even watching? I mean, this is the most important election. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in case you did not know, you are tuned into The Black Man Show, a place where we can take a look at the news with a little bit of 7 cents. So hit that like, hit the subscribe, share this with your peeps, and grab your favorite brew or two, as we continue. Next up, so over the past weekend, I've had the ability to catch up a bit on some stories that I had missed, and I got the opportunity to check out your boy Jonathan Major's recent interview on 2020, I think it was. And I just, y'all look at this.
Through it all, Major's new girlfriend, actress Megan Good, has remained by his side, even present for our interview.
How would you describe your relationship?
She's an angel. She's held me down like a gorilla, you know? I'm so blessed to have her, you know? The relationship is still fresh, but, you know, I think I found her.
I mean, what's wrong with this brother and his lip? I don't know. I always find people who do that, they people who got weird stuff to go along with their mouth when they be talking, they got a little extra stuff going on inside. That's just been my experience. Maybe, I don't know everybody on the planet. I don't know everybody. He might be a savant or something like that, and that's how he's calculating Terrence Howard mathematical equations in the meantime. But it looks like he's just battling a demon inside. He's trying to smile. I'm just saying, brother look crazy. But what is wrong with this man? I mean, first of all, let's address the actual factuals. So first off, I'll say I was hugely in his corner initially. I will not lie. Thinking, you know, another black man in Hollywood being taken out by a white woman. That's the story of the century, right? We've been hearing that so many times. We heard about, you know, we know about in actual cases of Emmett Till and athletes of galore. We've heard about that. But that was the thought that initially came to my mind. And so I went with it initially until I started to look at the facts. Now, while it still may be true that maybe the woman is trying to take him out, he didn't do himself any favors. Now, I don't know if he actually caused that that scratch behind the girl's ear, but I do know that in the video of him picking her up and knocking her against the car to try to throw her back into the car looked hella plausible. And I don't know if that man broke her finger, but I do know that she attacked him, and people act as if it's wrong for a man to defend himself when somebody's attacking you, even if that person is smaller than you. And I don't know if he's actually conquered anything, especially considering the way that she ran him down like on some Pepe Le Pew, Jason type shit.
El Pepe. El Pepe.
But what I do know is this ain't it. You just got found guilty, brother. You just got found guilty. Settle down. Relax. The roles that you lost, they lost. They gone. You're not getting them back. You're not about to say. Did you think you was about to save face and all of a sudden you was gonna have this? Everyone's gonna have this big revelation, and Jonathan Majors had this interview, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we were all in the wrong, and a judge and then jury and everybody's gonna say, hey, let's have a retrial, and everybody's gonna come back and say, no, let's fix things and make sure we get the girl. When does that ever happen? When does that ever happen? Especially when there's video footage. And here's the thing. Unfortunately, I don't agree with Jonathan in that whole if the roles were reversed and there was a black man chasing a white woman, he would immediately be shot. Shut up. Just shut up. Just when I hear stuff like that, it's like, I mean, honestly, what do you think you're doing? What do you think you're saving face? You think you're salvaging your career? Again, those roles are gone. They're gone. I don't know if you had like other stuff that was like sitting in the back and somebody was like, man, as soon as you get finished playing Kang, then man, you do Kang a couple times and do Creed 7 and 9. We got something for you on the other side, man. We got these other roles you gonna do. Again, maybe that's what it was, but that ain't it. So if anything, you're doing more damage, more than if you hadn't just taken it on the chin, served your little time or whatever, or went into hiding, however Hollywood people, however y'all do it, and then just pop back up in about 3 to 5 years. You know, people got not like memories nowadays with the social media and everything, but this right here is kind of screwing up that timeline, and even more so with the only people who would have your corner. Black people, when you say lame ass shit like this.
Like a Coretta, you know?
N-word. Whoo, you almost made me say it, bruh. Whoo, I wish you would reduce Coretta Scott King to the Eve of the fucking Rough Riders. You making, so you basically saying Coretta Scott King, Eve, same thing. That's basically what you saying, right? Ride or die. That's it. Want to ride or die, chick? That's what you saying, right? She's like a Coretta. Have you even studied Coretta? Do you know what she's done? Do you know who she is? For real? Talk to her kids. Talk to her grandkids. They alive. Oh my God. It's in words like you that make it hard for us to be taken seriously. And honestly, it's in words like you that make it hard for us to take you seriously. But oddly, because you take yourself too seriously. And again, like I said, in the previous report, see that one here, I think the woman lacks a major key component in being matched with either of these women who are married to great men like Coretta Scott King or Betty Shabazz or Michelle Obama. I mean, they all had to be married. This woman wasn't even your wife. You wasn't even trying to. Look. Can we be real for a second? Can we be real about it for a second? Anybody who's dated somebody in another ethnicity knows that every now and then you kind of try to pull some sort of, I need you to be on my side, sort of whatever, whop the bam, especially if you think you got a little level or leverage over them. So that's all dude was trying to do. That was nothing but game. Can we just be honest for a second? That was nothing but game. Cause you sitting there talking about be Coretta, be whoever. Okay, be that, and at the same time, he's got other chicks that he's fielding for questions and fielding for positioning and on his phone and stuff, and that's why we caused this whole thing in the first damn place. Like, what are we talking about? That's what I'm talking about. That's it. That's it right there. Like, it's all just game. It's all just game for real. And you just got caught. You didn't want to, and instead of just taking on the chin and letting the world know, hey, y'all, yeah, you caught me, you right. You just keep going with it and you let it ride. That's just mind-boggling to me, because that means you're completely self-unaware. Completely unaware. Can't read the room, you know? And like I said, as far as the woman that you were trying to train or whatever, I mean, she ain't even black. So again, what were you expecting her to do? What are you expecting her to be, actually? Again, that ain't nothing but game, because you're comparing her to people that she could never possibly be. And she knew that, so you're giving her an impossible task, so that way you could always tell her, oh, see how you're not living up? So all you mixed couples out there, who the man or the woman, whoever it is, somebody sitting there saying, oh, you don't match up, and they keep on like beating you over the head with it, that's just game. That's a little word from your boy 7. That's just game. It's just game. It's just game. I will say this. You mean to tell me that you actually thought that this weird mouth moving ass dude was going to be the next Denzel, though? I mean, no. Denzel ain't do that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a brand new year, and you know what that means. New beginnings, new resolutions, and apparently new layoffs. That's right, it seems like our beloved tech giants just couldn't resist shaking things up in the new year of our Lord. Let's start with the big G itself. Google, the search engine behemoth, decided to kick off the year with a round of layoffs. I mean, talk about a new year surprise, right? You know, sometimes you got to keep the people guessing. And when I say people, I mean employees. And when I say guessing, I mean guessing if they'll be online or in a food line. Now, the layoffs will impact employees working on Google Assistant, the voice-activated software product. So if you ever ask Google Assistant to tell you a joke, it might reply with, why did the employee cross the road? Probably to find a new damn job. But wait, there's more. The cuts also hit teams responsible for Google's Nest, Pixel, and Fitbit devices. So if your Fitbit suddenly stops tracking your steps, it might be because it's too busy updating its LinkedIn profile or trying to get something on Slack. I don't know. And let's not forget about the augmented reality team. Imagine explaining to your AR glasses that you are seeing someone else. That's kind of good. Now, Google CEO Sundar Pichai, who coincidentally is probably not getting a promotion this year, expressed his regret in a blog post where he said, "I'm deeply sorry for that." End quote. Well, Sundar, we also hope that you're sorry for all the Google Home devices that will have to console their now laid off owners. And Google isn't the only one who is in the layoff game. Amazon-owned Twitch decided to join the party too, announcing that they'll be cutting 35% of their workforce. Now, it seems like Twitch CEO Dan Clancy is trying to keep a positive tone, saying that they've worked hard to run their business sustainably. But let's be real now. Nobody wants to hear, "You're laid off," with a smiley face emoji. You know what I'm saying? So, and speaking of Amazon, they ain't immune either. I mean, the retail giant is trimming jobs in its Prime Video and Amazon MGM studio divisions as well. Maybe they're trying to make room for a new series, you know what I'm saying? Like the Layoff Chronicles. You never know. They're always looking for content. But it's like a domino effect in the tech world, y'all. I mean, Discord, Duolingo, and many others are singing the layoff blues. It looks like they're all vying for the most awkward start to 2024 award. So if you're an investor, I'd act accordingly. Now, of course, nothing I say is financial advice, and I'm a complete idiot on the internet. But I'm also not investing in these damn companies either. But so you take that how you want. But there you have it, folks. The tech world's version of New Year, New Me is apparently New Year, fewer employees. So let's hope as the year goes on that these companies and their competitors will find ways to keep their teams intact. But I'll just leave that there for right now and ask you, what do you think has led to the major layoffs? I mean, remember when we had that whole sick thing that was going on around a couple years ago and everybody stayed at home? Oddly, around the same time, our stocks couldn't fail. And now, those same companies are looking for change in the sofa. So how's your football team doing so far? Is yours still performing in these professional pigskin playoffs? You know, my Bears obviously are out, and it's looking like we may even keep the same. It's looking like we may keep the same coach, even while Jim Harbaugh is out there and wanting to come to Chicago. What are we doing? I'm sorry. Look, God only knows why, but this ain't about me and this ain't about mine. Nope. I just want to take a little bit of time to congratulate Lamar Jackson in his second MVP award. And I think it is well deserved. Now, say what you want to say about his play, but the man gets it done and was professional enough not to put his team in bad positions with myriad turnovers and had no issues with putting them feet to good use to help push the ball down the field. Now, I guess I just wanted to address his play. Is he quarterbacky enough? I think so, but maybe not so much for you. Maybe you've heard over the interwebs how a certain sportscaster decided to take the quarterback to task for his style of play, basically saying that he isn't the guy that she wants to represent the position.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky. And to me, Lamar Jackson's just a great athlete, and he's done a really good job, and he had a great game against the 49ers. Prisoners of the moment. He is not the MVP. Christian McCaffrey is the MVP, and he has been. I've been saying this for weeks. It's not like I just decided after this game. That's what happened with Lamar. After this game, he jumped up, but he wasn't even in the conversation. He was like an afterthought. It was always like Tua, Duck. No, it's Christian McCaffrey, and then two. And I'm not a huge fan of Tyreek Hill because of what he does off the field, but it's a separate conversation. He's in the second one. If it's not Christian, it's Tyreek Hill. Those are the two that have stood out every week. Every week. Not Lamar Jackson.
I mean, all coded racist language aside, I wish somebody had, instead of trying to label her as racist, which she still could very well be, they had just asked her, "What do you mean?" Because personally, I'm learning in my old age now that I just like to give people rope. Give people as much rope as they need. Give them all the rope they want. Because if you give people enough leeway, they will hang themselves. I promise you. It's gonna happen. Sometimes people get impatient and just want to cut to the chase. I get it. Nowadays, I like to watch them squirm and unfold in their own stupid. I love it. It's a pastime pleasure of mine. I promise you. Now, is it because he runs? I don't see y'all tripping when it's Jared Allen out there running. I mean, hell, y'all applaud it. What quarterback is the stoic, sit in the pocket, pick you apart guy? Do we have any more Tom Brady's or Drew Breeses or Peyton Mannings out there? I could have swore all them N-words retired. I could have swore they all gone right now, right? So who is that guy? Seriously, how many teams has a person like that, especially in today's game? You know what I'm saying? I have seen some crazy things said about Lamar Jackson. But to me, nothing is sillier than when I saw that, I think it was the Colts owner, I think Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay said, he had all this bad stuff to say about Lamar. He was basically saying everything other than the fact that I don't think this N-word should be a quarterback. More likely that, considering the fact that he has Anthony Richardson right now as his quarterback, was a black guy. So maybe it's not the fact that he didn't think a black guy could be a quarterback. He just didn't want that black guy to be a quarterback at all. But one of the things that Jim Irsay said about him, though, I believe, was that he was too short to be, like, he's too short to play quarterback. And I'm like, ain't Russell Wilson 5'11"? Ain't Kyler Murray 5'10"? Wasn't Drew Brees 5'11" and a half that they called 6? You know what I'm saying? Like, what wasn't Doug Flutie 5'7"? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? The man is 6'3". He's 6'3". And he's too short to play quarterback? What? The fuck are you talking about? For real. I don't know. So I just thought that was really wild. And unfortunate that across the whole of the sports industry, we'll see so many people making these weird points when they really don't want to say what they really want to say. You know what I'm saying? So instead of saying, I don't think that black person, I don't think that ethnic person, whatever, should be doing whatever, because in my stereotyped mind, I feel like the stereotypical person or the prototypical person doesn't fit this person, what this person's makeup is. Even though this person has better this, better that, better this, better that, doesn't matter. They don't represent what I have in my mind as what that, like, people don't want to say that. They don't want to go that whole route and do that whole thing. So instead they say dumb stuff that makes them look stupid, that sounds like quarterbacky. You just starting to make up words now because you can't word good, journalist. I think it's unfortunate because it just puts a little bit of a tint on what I think is another stellar season from somebody who has done so much for himself. So for me, I'll just say congratulations to a man who may not look prototypical while excelling, but the man is definitely the man who has done the damn job. You know what I'm saying? Now look, I'll be the first one to say, the man ain't the most attractive dude that you ever gonna find. I've always said he looks like a foot. Face look like a foot, but he got a head for the game. So even if his face look like a foot, he got a head for the game. So regardless of how you feel about the man, you have to admit that no one at his age has been able to reach his level. I mean, the man negotiated his own contract, got 2 league MVPs, all while people keep saying that he's a glorified running back. Well, as he said many times,
not bad for a running back.
But that's where I'll leave it. what do you think of the show? I'd love to know your thoughts in those comments down below. If you like the show, peep out our other shorts and episodes and all that. Humana, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it with your people, get you some merch at our ever-growing store, theblackmanshow.com. Do all the things. Do all the things. You know what I'm saying? And I want to let you all know, for those of y'all who are concerned, to send me a couple of inboxes. I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. I didn't put out an episode last week because your boy was physically not fit to do anything. I'm still recovering, honestly. I'm feeling it right now. But I wasn't in the best position to stand, sit, lay down, or anything. I had this weird thing going on with my hip. It was some sort of muscle contraction that I don't even know where it came from. I guess because I work from home, so I sit a lot, do a lot of sitting, and somehow, some way, even though I work out and stuff, that part, I guess, wasn't getting enough of a workout. It was getting too much of a workout to the point where I was having all this just tension, like a really bad muscle spasm in my hip to the point where, like I said, I couldn't do those things. So went to the doctor, got a shot, got some muscle relaxers, got put on a physical therapy regimen and all that stuff. So I'm better, I'm getting better, and I'm thankful for the fact that it's not worse. It's not worse, because I honestly thought it was going to be something worse. So anyway, so that's why I missed the show. I want to give a shout out real quick to WPLAY last week for allowing me to do my first interview. They gave me my first interview, so shout out to y'all. Thank you very much for that. But with that said, I am your boy 7 Blackman, and this has been The Blackman Show. Thank you all for checking us out. Please take care of each other until the next time I see you. And even beyond that. But until then, peace. And we out.